Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and I'm here to let you know about something that if you are interested, you might want to partake in 2024. So in 2023, I really committed to using StoryGraph. I still use Goodreads. I have like my postal book group, we communicate on Goodreads, as well as like some other forums for some podcasts I listen to. So I still have Goodreads. I have my issues with Goodreads, but I still have Goodreads. But StoryGraph is really kind of what I'm really putting my effort into now. I just think it's a better app. And I think that if it ever develops, it doesn't need to develop it, but you know, these sort of social aspects, maybe I'll give up Goodreads forever. But as of right now, because I have these other things, I kind of have to keep Goodreads. But anyway, also last year, in getting into using StoryGraph, I found out they have these challenges. They have your usual how many books, how many pages you're going to read in a year. Like Goodreads just does number of books, but StoryGraph, you can do books and number of pages. But they also have all these user-created ones, and there's countless ones. And I did several last year. I did some that were tied to like podcasts I listened to, like the Reading Glasses Challenge had one on there. Book Talk, etc. had one on there. And there's some that are just for the year, and there's some that are ongoing. So there's a lot of different things to do. So I did those, and I really enjoyed doing it. It kind of helped me to, at times, kind of get out of I don't want to say a reading rut, in that I kind of like was, you know, kind of slumpy, but rut in that I started just kind of reading the same thing. So I thought this year for myself, but I'm opening it up to whoever is interested. It's a public challenge. I did one for myself. Now, this challenge has 50 main prompts and 5 bonus prompts, which sounds like a lot, but there are no police. Personally, I am not going to double up. But if you would like to do this challenge and you would like to double up or triple up or whatever, which means count one book for multiple prompts, go ahead. You can do that. It's fine. But this is just to kind of keep me reading. Okay, what should I read next? Oh, what do I still have to do? Maybe I'll try something new. I intentionally did not make these especially hard, except for one that I think is going to be hard for me. And there's 2 that are kind of frivolous-y, but they're not really that, they're just to kind of get you reading widely. So I am going to go through all 55 prompts really quickly so you know what to expect. I will put the link to the challenge in StoryGraph down below. If you'd like to join, you can go ahead and do that. And I might also create a channel for it in my Discord, just in case people want that. We'll see. Anyway, let me go through the options or the prompts really quick. Some of them are super easy, clear. I don't need to explain them. Others might need a little bit. So, read the unread book you have owned the longest, or one of them. If you don't know for sure, just choose one. Read a 2024 release. Read a hardback. Read a paperback. Read an ebook. Listen to an audiobook. Read a book that won the Pulitzer Prize. Any award, any category, any year. Just one of them. Read a book that won the National Book Award. Any category, any year. The light got really weird in here all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Read a book that won the Women's Prize. Read a book that won a genre award. So I just included on this, if you go look, for examples, the Edgar or the Hugo. Those were just 2 that popped into my mind. That there's a bazillion. I don't care which one you use. Just something that is a genre award. So if you read a lot of romance, maybe look up the Ritas. I don't know. So read a mystery novel. This could be any kind of mystery. It could be cozy. It could be nerdy. It could be hard-boiled. It can be anything you want. Read a romance novel, which will not be hard for me this year. I thought this one would be challenging, but it will not be hard for me this year because the theme for the 2024 Book Cougars Read Along is romance. So I will be reading at least one romance novel with them. They said they're going to do romance and books about romance, but there will be romance novels included with that. Read a science fiction novel. And this includes dystopian, climate fiction, and time travel. I personally could make an argument that maybe dystopian is its own thing, or time travel doesn't exist. It shouldn't exist in science fiction, but for this, that's what we're doing. Read a fantasy novel, and this could also just be a book with magical realism. Read a horror novel. Read a memoir. Read a nonfiction history book. That might be hard for some people, but I love that stuff. Okay, these are my 2 kind of frivolous ones. Read a book with a cat on the cover. And read a book with a dog on the cover. Those are two different ones, by the way. One with a cat, one with a dog. Number 20, read a book that you purchased used. So you got a used bookstore, library sale, something like that. Read a book that you checked out from the library. Read a book in translation. This does not necessarily mean translated into English. It just means that you are reading it not in the language that it was originally written. So if you read, let's say you read in Spanish, you can read a book that was written in English, translated into Spanish. That's fine. Read a graphic novel. And for this, I am specifying that this is a novel because the next category is read a graphic memoir. Lots of times graphic memoirs are kind of called graphic novels, but I'm differentiating them here. Read a book by a Black author, read a book by an Asian author or Asian American, you know what I mean. Read a book by a North American Indigenous author. So this is an Indigenous author from Canada, the United States, or Central America, or the Caribbean, I guess. Read a book by a non-North American Indigenous author. So an Indigenous author that doesn't fit in the previous prompt. Read a book by a Central American, South American, or Latinx author. Read a book by a Middle Eastern author. And this Middle East is defined, I pulled this off Google. The Middle East consists of Cyprus, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, or whatever you want to call it, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Yemen. So one from one of those countries. Read a book by a trans or non-binary author, and read a book by an LGBTQ author. Q+. So obviously, like, you could count the same book for that one because a trans author would fit in both of them, but you do you. You decide how you want to do that. Read a book by an author with a disability. Read a book that is banned in your state, county, province, whatever. And on this, I included a link to a Google Doc that is sort of a master list of book bans everywhere. It is hard to navigate everywhere in the United States. If you live in a place where they don't ban books, like, yay, tell me where that is. But feel free to just choose a book off this list. It's huge. Read it. Okay, this is the one that's going to be hard for me. Read a book with a pun in the title, which means a cozy mystery. For me, that's all. I mean, I'm sure there are books with puns in the title that aren't cozy mysteries, but I just think cozy mystery. And I'm not really a huge cozy mystery fan, but yeah, we'll see. Read a middle grade book. Read a young adult book. Read a book that's the third in the series. You don't have to read books 1 and 2 if you don't want to. I mean, you should. And if you don't want to be a monster, you could just skip to book 3, but third book in a series. Read a book written in the 19th century, 1800s. Read a book written in the 20th century. It says read a book in, I should probably change that so it says written in. Written in the 20th century, 1900s. Read a book set in your state, county, province, whatever. So a book that's local to you in some way. Read a book that involves a body of water. This is a lot easier than I think. It could be a book that's set at a coastal town. It could be a book that's set on a ship. It could be a book about mermaids. You know, whatever. There's water involved. Read a book that has been adapted into a movie or series and then watch that movie or series. That should be very easy because everything's adapted now. Read a book about books. Read a short story collection. Read a play. If you're doing the Bard Room Shakespeare Project with me, there you go. Read a poetry collection. So here's a hint here. If poetry is hard for you, tip, get a poetry collection that has an audiobook and listen to it while you read it. It makes things a lot easier. And I will say, if you read the Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman, that is the way to read it because you really want to listen to her because she has a very certain speech pattern, but she also actually writes in a way that the words on the page are part of the poem as well. So that's how, if you're going to do that one, do that. Side tip. Number 48, read a book that involves a mythical or magical creature. Read a mythology or fairy tale retelling. Mythology does not have to be a Greek retelling. There's a lot of mythology out there that's being retold. Number 50, this is the last of the main ones, is read a book from an author or a country that is currently in conflict. So if you were to do that right now, you could read a book buy an author or book set in Ukraine. You could do one set in Palestine. Now, who knows what the future holds? So when you get to this prompt, there might be other countries that are in conflict. I hope not. It would be nice that you get to this prompt and you can't do it. That would be perfect. If you were able to get to this prompt and you were not able to do it because there was no conflict in the world. I don't think that's going to happen. But when you get to this prompt, think, okay, where's a place that's, and you don't have to do these prompts in order, by the way. Just, they're there. Now, here are my bonus ones. And all these involve acquiring books or getting rid of books. These, you do not need to complete these to complete the challenge. They just, they're kind of bonuses. 1, read a book purchased from an independent bookstore or bookshop.org. 52, read a book purchased from a non-bookstore. So you got it from Costco or Target, or you picked it up at a garage sale. Someplace that's just not a bookstore and you got a book from there. 53, read a book found at a little free library. And on this, I've included a link to the Little Free Library map. This is not all the Little Free Libraries in the world, but it's the ones that register with the Little Free Library organization. 54, read a book and leave it in the Little Free Library. Again, there's the map. And finally, read a book for a book club, if you're a book club person. So just if this is something you want to do, the link to this is down below. You do need to have a StoryGraph account, but I highly recommend it. StoryGraph is great. And even if you just use it for this, that's fun. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know down below. Like, subscribe. Feel free to join my Discord. As I said, I'm contemplating doing a discussion thread on this in the Discord. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to 2024, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.